So I just finished watching Kamala debate Donald Trump, their first debate, and I have to say, Donald Trump has given quite a lot of talk about a bloodbath. Apparently the bloodbath that he's been talking about was this debate. Because I have to say, my initial reaction is that Donald Trump got absolutely destroyed. I mean, obliterated. He came off unhinged, rambly, and not to mention, even at the very beginning of the debate, he looked like he was dying. Meanwhile, Kamala Harris was pretty much giving him the disappointed mom look the entire time. It was pretty based. First and foremost, I think without a doubt, Kamala Harris won that debate. I don't care if you're a Trump supporter. I don't care if you're a Kamala supporter. It was without a doubt abundantly clear that Kamala Harris delivered clear, concise answers, policies, and responses. Donald Trump, however, came off like a delusional old man, and I really think that he can best be summed up by just calling him Dementia Don. Kamala consistently demonstrated that she was more patriotic than Donald Trump because of her constant positive messaging and the fact that she consistently spoke against Donald Trump's divisive rhetoric. Trump also tried to call Kamala Harris a radical leftist liberal, which I have no idea what the hell that even means, but he tried to claim that she was like a Marxist or something.
If she ever got elected, she'd change it, and it will be the end of our country. She's a Marxist. Everybody knows she's a Marxist. Her father's a Marxist professor in economics, and he taught her well. But when you look at what she's done to our country...
Meanwhile, Kamala also brought up the fact that Goldman Sachs has literally said that her economy plan is good and that Donald Trump's would negatively impact the economy. Even more so throughout the debate, Donald Trump got fact-checked so much. The moderator consistently had to remind Trump that he was wrong, or that he did say that, or that this is actually what really happened, etc. It was really, really embarrassing for Trump. So meanwhile, Trump got fact-checked a bunch, while Kamala Harris actually got some pretty decent roasts in. I specifically really liked when she brought up that Trump was fired by 80 million people. That was really clever, and you could also see from Trump's reaction that that one cut deep.
Is that what you believe he's trying to do here?
Donald Trump was fired by 81 million people. So let's be clear about that. And clearly he is having a very difficult time processing that. But we cannot afford to have a president of the United States who attempts, as he did in the past, to upend the will of the voters in a free and fair election.
Meanwhile, Trump could not get off the immigration topic to save his life. Every single chance he got, it felt like he was just steering the conversation desperately back to immigration, illegal immigration, and it just felt really forced, really pathetic, and a lot like he was desperate to get back to a narrative that he himself was comfortable with. Even more so, Trump talks nonstop about immigrants, illegal immigrants, and everything else, but when it came up that Trump had advocated to reject an immigration bill that would have put more Border Patrol agents on the border, Trump refused to answer why.
I want to get your response.
Well, I would like to respond.
Let me just ask, though, why did you try to kill that bill, and successfully so, that would have put thousands of additional agents and officers on the border?
First, let me respond as to the rallies. She said people start leaving. People don't go to her rallies. There's no reason to go.
And instead, he chose to start rambling about how his rally sizes and his crowd sizes are actually really big.
And the people that do go, she's bussing them in and paying them to be there, and then showing them in a different light.
Even Kamala Harris is looking at the guy like, seriously, bro? An especially abysmal moment of the debate for Trump was the whole eating dogs thing. First and foremost, it's a total and flat out lie that Haitian immigrants are eating people's pets in the state of Ohio or something. This is just fucking false, okay? This is not happening. However, Trump still touted this BS.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country, and it's a shame.
When he was confronted by the moderator, Trump responded that he saw it on television?
ABC News did reach out to the city manager there. He told us there have been no credible reports of specific claims of pets being harmed, injured, or abused by individuals within the immigrant community.
Well, I've seen people on television.
Let me just say here, this is the
people on television say my dog was taken and used for food. So maybe he said that, and maybe that's a good thing to say for a city manager.
I'm not taking this from
but
television.
But the people
I'm
on
taking it from
television
the city
saying
manager.
their dog was eaten by the people that went there.
Again, the Springfield city manager says there's no evidence of that. Vice President Harris, I'll let you respond to the rest of what you've heard.
Good to know your sources, Dementia Don. Seriously, he sounds like a child whining. But Mom, I saw it on TV. Like, I genuinely did not think that Donald Trump would embarrass himself this bad during the debate. But if you thought that was bad, it got even worse for Trump. I'm not gonna lie. Trump flat out roasted himself later on when he flat out acknowledged that the whole reason his election fraud nonsense didn't go through was because the case had no standing.
And we should just point out here as clarification, and you know this, you and your allies, 60 cases in front of many judges, many of them Republican.
No judge looked at it.
And said
they
there was
said
no
we didn't have
widespread
standing.
fraud.
That's the other thing. They said we didn't have standing, a technicality. Can you imagine a system where a person in an election doesn't have standing? The president of the United States doesn't have standing. That's how we lost.
Seriously, Trump, you're taking so many massive L's right here. I'm embarrassed to share oxygen with you. Trump pretty much just said on live national television, it's just because we had no evidence, okay? And then, of course, Trump continued on this whole nothing bad would have ever happened if I were president.
President Trump, how would you negotiate with Netanyahu and also Hamas in order to get the hostages out and prevent the killing of more innocent civilians in Gaza?
If I were president, it would have never started. If I were president, Russia would have never, ever, I know Putin very well, he would have never, and there was no threat of it either, by the way, for 4 years, have gone into Ukraine.
You know, if Trump were president, cancer wouldn't be a thing. If Trump were president, AIDS would never have existed. Kamala, of course, also had a pretty good roast in response.
I believe the reason that Donald Trump says that this war would be over within 24 hours is because he would just give it up. And that's not who we are as Americans. Let's understand what happened here. I actually met with Zelensky a few days before Russia invaded, tried through force to change territorial boundaries, to defy one of the most important international rules and norms, which is the importance of sovereignty and territorial integrity.
That wasn't the end of Dementia Don's flubs and gaffes as he went on the debate. Trump also completely floundered when questioned as to why he ever called into question Kamala Harris's ethnicity.
Mr. President, you recently said of Vice President Harris, quote, "I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black." I want to ask a bigger picture question here tonight. Why do you believe it's appropriate to weigh in on the racial identity of your opponent?
I don't, and I don't care. I don't care what she is. I don't care. You make a big deal out of something, I couldn't care less. Whatever she wants to be is okay with me.
But those were your words, so I'm asking.
I don't know. I mean, all I can say is I read where she was not black, that she put out, and I'll say that. And then I read that she was black, and that's okay. Either one was okay with me. That's up to her. That's up to her.
Vice President Harris, your thoughts on this?
I think it's, I mean, honestly, I think it's a tragedy that we have someone who wants to be president who has consistently, over the course of his career, attempted to use race to divide the American people.
Wow, I have no idea what happened to Donald Trump's spine, but he used to have some charisma and some energy. Now he's just a mopey old man. And it got even worse when the topic of Obamacare came up. Trump tried to claim that Obamacare wasn't very good or that he has a better idea, and when pressed further about it, he responded by saying, well, he doesn't really have a plan, but he has a concept of a plan.
I inherited Obamacare because Democrats wouldn't change it. They wouldn't vote for it. It's still never going to be great, and it's too expensive for people. And what we will do is we're looking at different plans. If we can come up with a plan that's going to cost our people, our population, less money, and be better health care than Obamacare, then I would absolutely do it. But until then, I'd run it as good as it can be run.
So just a yes or no, you still do not have a plan?
I have concepts of a plan. I'm not president right now. But if we come up with something, I would only change it if we come up with something that's better and less expensive. And there are concepts and options we have to do that.
Got it. So Trump has a plan to make a plan, or does it mean that Trump just simply knows the definition of a plan? Like, he can read to us the Webster's Dictionary definition. Either way, I'm scared. And of course, by the time we reached closing statements, Trump really did seem quite defeated, and he used his closing statement time to once again ramble about, you guessed it, immigrants. That's right. Rather than giving any kind of call to unity or anything else like Kamala Harris did, Trump instead went on some delusional dementia rant about illegal immigrants once again. I swear to God, you give this man a mic and he's gonna just start rambling non-stop fan fiction about illegal immigration. All in all, I think that it is very clear that Trump fucking lost this debate. I'm sure that I'm gonna get a lot of losers in my comment section claiming otherwise, coping hardcore, trying to claim that the moderator was biased or some other stupid excuse. At the end of the day, your Big Daddy Trump lost, and even better, he lost to a girl. Cry harder, cope harder, and I expect Trump to continue to fail.